In this video, we're going to learn how to write the data by row into our CSV file. Now that we've created our conditional statement using the if action, we want to write the data into our CSV file when the bot identifies a row from our data file for our state. We previously learned how to write data into our CSV file when we created our header row. Can you recall the action that we used to accomplish this? If you said the log to file action, you're correct. We're going to use the log to file action just like we did when we were writing in our header row. In doing so, we will need to tell the bot first where to locate the file that we want to write the data into. Then we have to tell the bot what data to put into the CSV file. In our header row, we simply typed in the header row, separating it out by commas. But for this purpose, because our data is going to change for each row that we're going to be writing into our CSV file, we're going to use our variables. Be careful. Since we are writing our data into CSV files, we need to separate each variable by a comma. Since the bot will be operating in a CSV file, the comma tells the bot to move to the next column before writing the next variable. So as you're programming this step, if you go in and check your CSV file and your data is not appearing in the correct column, check to make sure that you either have a comma where you should have commas, or that you're not missing any commas. Once we've written in the data using some of our variables, we'll also learn how to write in data by position number. So we'll be writing in some of the numeric variable data using the position number in the current row. When we created our header row, we created two columns that will contain data that is not directly available in our raw data file, the undiscounted revenues column and a column for consultant name. I will demonstrate how we can write a formula that will compute undiscounted revenues in the CSV file using the text to log command. The final column will contain your name so that the instructor can quickly identify who the CSV file belongs to. Let's get into A2019 to see how we program the bot to write in all of these data elements into our CSV file. Navigate down the Actions menu to locate the Log to File menu and click once to open, and double-click on Log to File to move the action onto our workbench. If the action did not locate both within the loop and within the if statement, remember you can click and drag to reposition the action on your workbench. Once you have the Log to File action in the correct location on your workbench, click on the action to open the action's detail so that we can configure our action. First, we need to tell the bot where to find the file that we would like to write into. So click on the Browse button and use your File Explorer to navigate to our CSV file. Once you click Open, you should see the full file path. Now that we've told the bot where the file is located, we can tell the bot what we want the bot to write into our file. Our first column contains our record ID. Click on the X and paren, then click on the down arrow and select the S record ID from our variable menu. Then click Yes, Insert. Remember, we're writing into a CSV file, so every time we want the bot to move to the next column, we need to enter a comma. Next, let's put in our order number. So repeat the process of clicking on the X and paren, using the down menu, and then this time selecting order num off our menu, and yes, insert. Our third column is our year, so we're going to repeat this process one more time to tell the bot to record the year in the third column. As we can see here, the configuration is telling the bot to enter text. In other words, our bot is only going to write string data into our CSV file. But we have some columns that we want to write numeric data into. If we were to click on our variable menu, we would not see our numeric variables on this menu. That's okay though, because we can still write numeric data. We just need to use our row and position index. In this case, we want to write in the quantity, which is located in position 3. Once you've done that, go ahead and click Yes, Insert. Don't forget your comma before moving on to the next column. We now want to write in our product price. Since we transformed our product price to remove the $ and assigned it initially to a string product price variable, we'll be able to select our S product price variable directly off the variable menu. If you're like me and have limited space, don't worry that the cursor appears at the front of your Enter Text Log command box. You can always use the End key on your keyboard to move the cursor to the last position. The next 3 columns of data are again numeric data, our revenue, tax, and total sales columns. We're again going to write each of these by referring to the row and index position. Since our revenue is in position 7, change to 0 for 7 and click Yes, Insert. Again, I'm going to use the End key to get to the end of my command, and then I'm going to enter in the row and position for tax. The last numeric variable that we'll be entering is our total sales, which is in position 9. Our next column is our column for our state. We have an S state variable that we can select right off the menu. Our CSV file has 2 additional columns to hold data that was not in our original underlying file. The first of these 2 columns is for our undiscounted sales. Undiscounted sales is found by multiplying the quantity by the product price. We had 2 options for writing the data into the undiscounted sales column. First, since we converted both the quantity and the product price into numeric data, we could have used the numeric variable to compute undiscounted sales inside the bot, and then convert the numeric undiscounted sales variable into a string variable that could be written into our CSV file. Alternatively, we also have the option to write a formula directly using our text-to-log command box. Although we instruct our bot to write a formula, Excel will automatically complete the computation of that formula when we open the CSV file. So in this case, we're going to enter in equals. Then we want it to multiply the value in the quantity, which again we referenced by row and index. Make sure you're at the end and enter in an asterisk, since that's the symbol used for multiplication. And then multiply the quantity by our product price from our string value. Make sure you're at the end and enter in a comma after you've put in your formula. The final column is labeled consultant name. In this case, you are the consultant. So just like we did when we were configuring the bot to write in our header row using the log to file action, type in your name. Your instructor may require additional identifying columns, such as course number, section number, or semester. If this additional information is required, remember to create additional column headers in step 3 for each additional piece of information required, and then type that information, just as we did with our name, into our log to file command for writing out the data. If I expand the Actions Detail menu, it is a bit easier to see the full Enter Text to Log box. Your box should have the following information: the record ID, the order number, the year, the quantity, the product price, the revenue, the tax, the total sales, the state, a computation for the undiscounted sales, and any additional information that your instructor requires. When you run your bot, if the data is not in the correct columns, make sure to double check that you do not have extra commas or that you are missing commas between your data elements. We can go ahead and move the Actions Detail menu back over. We want the bot to automatically write a timestamp that indicates when the action was performed. So make sure that the Append Timestamp action is selected. For this log to file step, we want to leave the option to append to existing log file checked. This is because we would like the bot to continue to write new rows of data into our Excel file instead of overwriting the entire Excel file each time a new row of data is written in. Finally, we can leave the encoding as ANSI. Once you've completely configured your log to file action, you can click Save, and you can close your log to file menu. You should now have 17 commands on your workbench. Great job! You have now programmed your bot to read in your raw data, transform the data, and write the transformed data into your CSV file, but only if the transformed data comes from sales to your state. You have just a few short steps left before you complete your bot program. You can run the bot now if you would like to ensure that the data is being written into your CSV file correctly.